Yes.
Yo, 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 yo.
It's like alien tongues.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to speak in tongues, Joey, to start this off?
No.
Had you guys already discussed that bit?
No. That was all improvised, if you can believe it or not.
Damn, like pros. Can you speak in tongues, Cass?
I haven't tried, and I don't know if I want to try right now.
I don't think it's even something you try. I guess it is, but I've spoken in tongues a few times.
Yeah.
On Ramin's podcast, he has people speak in tongues, right?
Does he?
Or like, I feel like I did once on his podcast, where it's like kind of just like let it flow, see what comes out, and you just end up sounding racist because you say stuff in like weird accents.
Inky, pinky, punky.
Pinky monkey. Tiki tiki dumbo, no summon bo. I feel like for me, it's just borderlining. Like I've just seen too many cringe people just speaking in tongues and like love light language. And how come like all the Christians who are speaking in tongues sound exactly the same as the like love light people going like?
Well, that's what's interesting about it to me.
It's the language of love, Joey. Light language is beyond.
Okay, well, I might be categorizing it wrong. I just mean when people.
I was fucking around.
Okay, I was gonna say like, like the lady I sent you on Instagram the other day.
Yeah.
The girl going into a full. Like, I actually think there is a benefit to, again, it's like chanting and all these things. But I guess when people are like, they're just so like you can see it's just their mind. It's like, okay, you're outputting as much as you can think, like as fast as you can.
It's a hard thing to capture on film, so when it is captured on film, it's a little sus.
But I've felt good. I've spoken gibberish and felt very good, actually. Like it's like you're creative in a way that's like, it's like a loose valve. You can just let it all go, and you don't have to worry about making sense or anything. Or even like when I used to freestyle rap, I would just freestyle to the beat, speaking gibberish, but I'd be on beat, and I was like, oh, that was cool.
I've heard people like Gabriel do light language or whatever, and I don't know if it's just I'm high or whatever, but I'm like, I understood every word. Do you know what I mean?
I agree 1,000%. Even when we were, we did that crazy ceremony with mushrooms and Syrian rue, the Soma blend in Robert's Temple. And he just chanted the whole time, and he knows like all the fucking Hindu chants, like all of them, and he just did them for like 6 hours, and it was crazy. I was so high, I understood it. Yeah, and I could almost, like, I could tap into how they even came up with them, and it was just a fucking bunch of silly guys like us, just smoking so much hash and just like just adding one thing to another to the other. Yeah,
but it is like true though. But I feel like it is so true though. It's like the chanting that you feel like Om, when you Om with people, the resonance, I don't care if you think that it actually like resonates to people and it's like raising the vibration of that. It feels great. If you Om with people, it feels great. And it's like it can be a transcending experience. And like even when we were on the first part of this film and we met those people in wherever we saw the dancing people in the street, Cincinnati for that one night. When we Ohmed, I was like, oh, wow, that was awesome. Why don't we do this more often? We just met strangers and, like, Ohmed with them.
It's a great way to just get everyone on the same vibe. You never feel worse after doing that.
No.
And actually, the longer you do it, the better.
I think I'm just I think I'm, like, in my teenage phase of spirituality where I'm just, like, I know that I could set intentions and I know I could be loving and I know I could do blessings and I do all that stuff and I have done all that stuff, but now I'm in the, like, twisted joker fuck it stage of things where I'm just I don't know, I'm not saying I want to be here. I'm just it's
interesting. I'm in the same place. It's a good way to put it too.
I know.
Like,
I was just thinking that.
Like it's just a teenager like who's just like whatever.
I know it's real, but I want to find my own way to do it.
I remember I used to, like, when I first discovered all this stuff, I would listen to so much Terrence McKenna, and one of the things he would say that, like, upset me was, like, that he didn't have, like, he was like, I've shopped I've shopped every shelf of the spiritual supermarket. I see everything they have to offer, and none of it's for me. And I'm like, for real? Like, I just thought it was like, I just thought it was like cold and jaded and this and that. And it's just like 10 years later, I'm around to the same thing. I'm like, there's really nothing somebody else could offer me that I couldn't find myself. And it helped me more.
Yeah.
So
I think it's so interesting you say that because it's like, again, it's like that you can find yourself. Like, it might sound cocky ego, whatever. It's like I do think of myself as a shopper, or maybe not even a shopper, just a borrower. I don't even know. Just walking through, like, you'll find things that apply to you, and it's like no one's gonna make this make more sense than I can make it make sense to myself and apply to my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and it sounds cocky, but it's not, because I need everyone else's, modalities of thought to come to me for me to be like, oh, I want that one. Oh, that one works. That one works.
Yeah.
And it changes all the time, I think. But yeah, I do feel that like teenage philosophy.
Petulance.
Yeah.
Angst.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just like pushing the boundaries. You're just like, well, and also just like a push up against like not taking anything too seriously, like any moment, or like even I have these, we want to do things, and I know that like there's manifestation and stuff, but I'm like, at what cost though? I don't know. Because who, like, do you really want to fuck with life and the natural flow of things? Like, who am I to say I want life to go in a certain way?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not expressing this well.
No, but I know what you're saying. It's kind of like
imposing, and like, who am I to impose my desires on things?
Yeah. Like, this is going down either way.
It's going down. I'm going to try to show up and be grateful and take what's coming.
Yeah, but I think it took a lot of spiritual practice and trial and error to get to that place where you're like, oh, actually my religion is just being grateful and present.
It's like a very long and twisted journey to get to a very simple answer or a question that you want to follow. And it's like, same thing with the art. Like, again, we were talking about this earlier. Like, our friend Fraser came to shoot with us the last trip for like a night. And he's like, what you guys are doing? This isn't crazy. This is insane. You just walk up to people and do that. And we're like, oh shit, I guess it is kind of crazy.
It is kind of wild.
And that's kind of how I feel like my spiritual practices developed first. At first, I was like, oh my God, how does everyone not know this? I got to tell them.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, wait. I got to understand this more. And then it gets to like you have an understanding of it, and it's sort of just instilled in you. And then you're kind of like, okay, nothing's blowing my mind. Now it's more of a mundane, every day is a practice of what I've thought. Yeah, of what I've preached or followed or thought of.
Yeah, I feel like it's gotten to a place with me where I'm like, I went through the same journey as you. Like, when I had my awakening, I was like, oh my God, we need to talk about this. People need to know about this. Like, I want to find out what other people are doing. And I kind of like collected all these data points over 10 years. And now I'm like, spirituality is actually deeply personal, like deeply personal, to the point where I think most people couldn't even speak to it. Like, I can barely speak to my spiritual life. It's such a deeply personal thing that no one else can ever experience. And so are my practices. And they're weird. And so it's just like, it's hard to subscribe to any like blanket practice or religion or whatever, to me, that's going to get you there. So
life comes for you, it feels like.
Yeah.
Like, I so badly wanted to be a better person, or like assert I am a good person. Now I'm like, I'm not a good person. There's like no way to be like free of, I don't know, there's no way to be on a high horse in like American society of like, oh, I'm a good person. I mean, you look at any one of our habits and you're like, this is
but it's what we're all striving
this
for.
Was made by a Chinese child, child, for sure.
Yeah, whatever it is. And I'm just kind of like surrendering, like almost like life is going to come for me with these lessons to like, I hope, purify me, I guess, so that I can samsara or escape the cycle of birth and death. And I just am like, I'm less concerned with how far I am from doing that now. Like, do you know what I mean? I used to be like, oh, I want this to be my last lifetime. Or like, I really want to awaken in this lifetime. And I'm like, I'm not so sure. Not that I don't want to. I'm just like, I'm not so sure I'm going to live my life judging whether or not that happens.
Yeah.
Or like with a clinging of like, I got to reach something, or I need to purify, or I'm just like, oh, just try to do right by people the best you can. I don't know. Just do your best.
Well,
just try a little harder every day.
The farther you get into the spiritual practices or religious practices or any of these things, it's just a reflection of the human experience. And if anyone can speak to the human experience, that's going to apply to you. So like, for instance, if it's like, Adrian Rogers is one guy who's like a Christian preacher who like me and my friend Cody will send around to each other. He just does like short experts. He's expired since then, but he's dead.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But he and but yeah, like people like that, people like that come in, and he wasn't just like a religious man. He was a humans man. He's traveled the world and really taken religion as a vessel to explore humanity and what it means to be human. And then he'd tell these like parables or stories of the Bible or his own experiences and interweave them, because like he's knows the Bible in and out, and basically will be the translator to like modern English. And he's just a smart, learned, traveled guy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he has the religious side, but he's a smart, learned, traveled guy who's in touch with like feelings. you know?
Yeah. I saw a clip the other day of a rabbi, someone saying like, why are people losing faith in God? And he said, I don't think people are losing faith in God. I think more and more people are turning to God every day. People are losing faith in religions, and they should, because the religions have failed them. And if your religion's failing you, you should leave it. Yeah. And it was just so like, it's like, that's basically my spiritual practice is seeking out the truth and honesty and something real in this very performative, mask-wearing culture. Is to try to find something real that you can relate with. And I think that's why we make these movies and everything. But it's so refreshing when somebody who is there to like protect the religion and everything, and they're just like, oh no, people should leave their religions. If it's failing you, if it's making your life feel smaller, you should leave it. And there's a reason people are turning their back on religion. But he's like, don't think they're turning their back on God. They're not. Yeah. They're not.
You can't, though.
You can't. How could you?
You can't. Like, and you're just like, you don't have to look for God. God's here. You know what I mean? There's no escaping it. So it's, I don't know.
Well, the way I've always, and listening to Adrian Rogers did this to me, really what translated what he's saying to me was the second that I took the word God, whenever he said the word God, and I interchanged it with life, just life, and all of a sudden, every single word he said was like, I was like, oh, and it's like it applies so much more. And like life is just, that's what all these religions and all these things are. It's like it's a reflection of life, because you're living it. That's all we have. Like, of course we're going to experience, through that.
I saw someone, an old high school, middle school friend say something about how I could see they were going through their like new psychedelic birth or whatever. Yeah. And they were talking about how they, for all like love songs, they like thought of the love song as not speaking to like a person, but to God, and how every like song was resonating on like a much deeper level. Oh yeah. And that totally resonates with me. Like
that takes me back.
Yeah, but it still like rings true too, where you're like, oh, every love song you can feel so deeply when you kind of take it out of like the human form or something.
Yeah. Yeah, and like music, kind of like when people preach scripture. Music's the same way. I can feel the bullshit from a mile away. I'm like, you just know the right things to sing about and the right chords and everything, but this isn't coming from a real place. And you're like, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's just me, but like.
No, we've seen a lot of live bands, especially on our last film. And some of them you'd be surprised. You're like, this is what the hype's about? You're like, this doesn't even feel, and we listen to so much live music at so many things, and it's like, you just know whether, like, you remember that girl, Danielle Ponders, or like, Danielle Ponders, like, that was, we just immediately stopped. Out of, like, hours and days of listening to music, we stopped at this one, and we're like, oh, we should listen to this.
Yeah, and you could feel it. You're like we were just trying to walk by the stage, and you could feel, like, something interesting is going on here. And, like, when we were in Nashville, and we were creeping around, and we stopped in to see Evan P. Donahue. And, like, we had, like, good seats or whatever. I didn't realize how many people. He filled the place out. Yeah. And everybody was listening to every note and every word. Yep. And it's just a guy kind of, like, softly singing and playing guitar up there on stage. And when I looked back, I was like, wow, everybody's hanging on to his every word. Totally. This is incredibly magnetic. And meanwhile, like, we'll go to Halloween, and, like, the bands that are, like, trying to get your attention, I'm just like, stop it. Leave me the fuck alone.
No wonder also, like, all these art forms and stuff are so popular. Like, I, again, hate to take it back to comedy, but not really, because it's like same thing when you're on stage and everybody's, like, you're always constantly looking for community acceptance and connection in this world. And then it's like, sure, it's a little bastardized, but getting on a stage and people listening to you and reacting positively to you, and you're impacting them in a positive way, like, that feels so like good because it's like a dose of it that you don't get when you're going to Walgreens and shit. You're not running into that. It's like you need a heavy dose of that every day.
Yeah.
And usually it's good if you have, like, again, luxury or whatever. It's two things. It's a scale, but like being with your family. Same with like me being so close to my family. It's like it can be a blessing and a curse, but it's like those are the little social community connections that build your art too. Like once you have those down, people think that comes, but what's in your life usually, like around you, again, tend to the garden you can touch, is usually the most useful to your art and life.
Well, and I think that's why you see a lot of musicians, at least in our experience, like we'll get very excited about a band. They'll put out a killer first record and maybe like a killer second or third record. And then they start to get popularity and money and they start to, I think, detach a little bit from that stuff. And, you know, it's like almost like they don't know their roots anymore, so they're not as home.
Or they also
they're
have
still trying.
They also are like promised to a record label to produce a certain amount of songs or album.
Yeah. It starts getting corrupted by a lot of different factors.
Yeah.
And you just kind of like lose the thread. Some people get better as they go along. Some people really don't. They fall off a cliff. And it surprises me because I feel like with songwriting, it should be something you get better and better at.
Yeah, it's got to be a hard thing to keep getting better when you're gaining popularity because you have a built-in system of where you can get that acceptance.
Mm-hmm. You know what they want.
Yeah.
You know how to give it to them because you've done it in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, even I was saying this to my friends recently, like it's so funny to see my friends before a mic and after a mic, after they bomb or after they do well. Like my friend even started to film people before the mic and interview them, and then he wants to interview them after the mic.
You could even do a photo series of that.
Yeah, literally. Like they've aged 20 years,
Yeah.
and it's like if it goes bad, and it's like, it's just so funny because I always say I found like I was talking to this one comedian. I'm like, it's so funny when you bomb. You know this is the necessary path to getting better. You know it's part of the equation. You know it's making you better because for better or worse, you're going to do better next time or prepare more or whatever it might be. Work on some things. Yet it still hurts so much.
It's like a breakup.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Especially getting out of like a bad relationship or whatever. You're like, God damn, this hurts so bad. You know, your higher self knows like this is making you who you are. This is going to help you produce your magnum opus. This is going to, this is fueling everything. You know, it's here for you. Yet you still have to have the very human processing and emotions, and it's good. That's why we're not gods. I mean, we are, but like, it's what makes us human. It's
like what Ram Dass says is like take the human curriculum, like what Emmanuel said to him.
Yeah.
Like you're a human, you should be taking the curriculum.
You're in school. Why don't you actually take the curriculum?
Yeah.
You know, you're here. Why don't you just?
That's
do
where
the
I'm like a
human
teenager.
thing?
I'm like pushing. I'm like, let me like, how can I like, you know, how can we? I don't know, but I don't.
We're in our warts and all phase.
Yeah.
You know, it's like here's who we are. We're not perfect. You know.
Yeah.
Our last podcast sent ripples because we were just sitting on here talking trash. And, you know, I think, you know, I don't regret anything we said, but we also didn't plan for anything we said like this. Like, we never talk about what we're going to talk about. We just get on here and literally just start talking about whatever comes up.
We become fuels.
Yeah, but I think it's important to not be scared of the reaction and scared of, like, adjusting or changing. And that's, like, I feel like it sparked conversation in a way that, like, allows everyone to kind of understand more and engage with different things, and for us to engage deeper, and I think that's what it's all about. Like we're here to learn. Like no one knows what's going on. I certainly don't. So
I mean, we were talking about this when we were walking the graveyard. We were talking about how I hopefully I can say it better than I did in the graveyard. But I was saying like monks. Like I was just watching something recently where we were saying like, you know, like even the most dedicated monks, whether it be Buddhists or whatever, like when they slip up and they have a cigarette or they get mad or any of these things, like people think that if you're completely enlightened that you're absent of those things, but in reality those things are what's grounding you, what's making you actually able to appreciate the human experience. The lesson isn't there if you're perfect. It's like you need those things in your life to ground you and make you an infallible human being, which is what that's why you need to grow, is because there's some infallible nature to you know.
We're not perfect.
No.
I am. I don't know about you guys.
Little Miss Perfect.
We were doing so good before, Joey. We like did this a million times, and now
that's what the podcast just
us having a good old catch.
just balls.
balls to the walls.
Balls to the
I
wall, balls
snorted.
on fire.
We went and saw My Morning Jacket last night.
Flying high.
Holy shit! Yeah,
Smoke in the sky.
yeah, dude. Yeah, that was we went and saw, like, we went out of our way to go to like an obscure venue to see them, because we've had a lot of opportunities to see
Yeah.
them, but it was like, I just don't want to battle crowds and this and that. Like, we went to the most chill venue. It's Yale's tennis stadium. It's called Westville Music Bowl, and like it's a good place to be like fucked up. Like, I hate to say it, like, but I would judge a venue on that. Like, we were fucking twisted in there last night, and it wasn't an issue. No one was pushing around.
Like, you can
telling us,
easily switch seats or walk around. or
Only
whatever.
issue was the climate change girl coming up and just
Yeah.
interviewing
we're like
us,
peeking
coming
on acid and dabs and kratom.
Yeah.
And this chick comes up, she's like, "Can I give you a little climate quiz?" I was like, I just waved her off. I said, "I'll take care of this, guys."
Yeah, you said I'm
Get
too
outta
high.
here.
You said we're too high for this.
Yeah.
And
she said, "No, you
"No,
guys can
you're-"
do this." And we're like, "Come on, man."
All right.
But we had fun.
Yeah, we did.
But My Morning Jacket blew my mind.
Yeah.
They totally. It's weird. I've had a lot of people be like, "You would love that band," and I just never listened to them. But I listen to a lot of Jim James solo stuff, and then we became friends with Jim. We're like, we should go see them, and they rip. Like, I don't even know how a band could rip much harder than that.
I was saying there's like 3 or 4 times when I was like, this is like, it was like Space Jam music. It was like they were really sent me to another dimension. I just kept my eyes closed and I was like, this is crazy.
I was literally in so much of another dimension that I forgot we were at a show. Like, I was just in the place, like, kind of meditation can take you when you're really when it's really working, you know, the nothing.
That's why I like to go to music with you guys, because like I realized last night as I was sitting there just like, and I've had this effect when we went to Radio City Music Hall for
Phil
Bob
Lesh and
Weir.
Bob
Yeah,
Weir.
and I was just sitting there, and again, it's like you guys call it church, and I was like, you guys are the people I've literally seen the most live music with, for sure.
Hell
like,
yeah.
hands down. And it's like every time you have an opportunity to, like, you're like, wait, what should I do? What should I dance? Should I do? You know, but then it really is like church. You just get to sit there, and it's like a meditation.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you could have a night, you could drink some beer and go dance around and whatever you want to do, but it's like, when you sit down, like last night, it's very impactful.
Oh yeah. I sit there and I close my eyes, and like, I had my eyes closed for maybe 92% of the show, and I open my eyes, and there's the sickest fucking light show I've ever fucking seen, and I'm like, how much of this did I miss?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was just in a trance.
Are you talking about the white one with all the white speckles everywhere? It was like
They hit like the biggest disco ball I've ever seen. And then they had some light that and with the smoke in the air, because the Canadian wildfires are making it trippy again. There was some light that literally, from our angle where Jim James was standing and playing, it looked like he was in a vortex of smoke, just getting swallowed into a vortex of smoke. I was like, this is the sickest fucking light show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
People were loving it. Everybody in there was having a great old time.
The Dust Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we're cool, so we had backstage passes, but we're so cool that we were like, we're good.
We're good. We're gonna go home.
We're going to go ahead and go home.
We can't be standing out here with people with posters.
I can't be waiting around with people that want to get their posters signed.
And there was no pizza. They said there'd be pizza. No
There
pizza.
was pizza, but we just had to be more patient for it.
But I wasn't gonna be patient for pizza.
There was going to be a party that happened from like 11 till 3 in the morning, and we probably would have lasted 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's probably just better not to show your face at all.
Oh, 100%. We were. I knew it was bad when we were walking down, and you were like, "Joey, do I look blazed?" And you looked at me. I was like, "Yeah,
For
you do."
once.
And I'm like, when Sean looks blazed, that means everyone around him's obliterated.
But yes.
I knew how high I looked. I knew how high I looked, and I was
Yeah,
like,
it's
"He's
bad.
asking me."
If I look blazed, you can guarantee you look
Yeah.
like fucking crazy. Crazy. It was fun though, but like, I mean, during the show, I was like, "There's no way we're going to this after party."
That's what I was thinking the entire time
I'm
too.
so fucked up.
I was like, I guess we're doing it. I'll just be a shell of myself, but I'm gonna enjoy this music.
They're gonna come off stage like bright as
Yeah.
a whistle. They haven't had anything to smoke or drink this whole fucking time. They're gonna come off all jacked up, and we're gonna be like,
Yeah, dude. The light show.
How do you guys do that? Do you hire somebody? Or?
Was that the smoke from the mountains, or was that from?
Yeah, but mind blowing. I think, fuck, man. I hate to admit it. Jim James is like a fucking generational talent. Like,
He's
we're
very,
lucky to
very
have that guy out there and his band, and Shout out to Louisville for producing those motherfuckers.
And that little thing he played, like he made a live loop.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Bizarre
Sick.
guy.
No, I was thinking it was funny how we were like looking up who's from Connecticut because you're from
Oh, yeah.
Connecticut. We're like famous people from Connecticut, and it was like Glenn Close.
Glenn
John
Close
Mayer.
up. Josh Dickinson. It's
Yeah.
like, who the fuck is this?
I told you, I was like, there's not a lot. And I guess John Mayer, I forgot about him, but like, who cares about him? And it's, no, I'm kidding.
He's
I'm
the most
kidding a
famous
lot.
person from Connecticut.
I know everyone cares about him, but that's why I don't care about him. But then other than that, yeah, like Glenn Close, like all these boring people, like.
And then I looked up New York, and it was like Michael Jordan and
Yeah.
everyone else.
You look up Peekskill. There's more famous people that have come from Peekskill than
Yeah.
the whole state of Connecticut.
How do you think that? How do you think
we
that
have
makes
Mel
me
Gibson
feel?
and Pee Wee Herman.
How do you think that makes me feel? I'm
I
from
know.
Connecticut now.
Well,
I'm supposed to make a name for Connecticut. I gotta carry Connecticut on my back.
it should light a fucking fire
It
under
definitely
It
you.
is.
should.
It has. Why do you
This
think
is
I've been?
this is Connecticut's decade, so
Yeah.
watch out.
You have a rare opportunity to be the most famous person from Connecticut. At least the most famous comedian.
Yeah, yeah.
Do we know any comedians?
Can't
from
be
Connecticut?
hard. There's not a lot of Connecticut comedians.
No,
No.
no.
And I didn't start in Connecticut. I'm a Florida comedian right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You always will be.
Yeah, me and Bert Kreischer. St. Pete, baby.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
That made him who he is.
Yeah, it
growing
did.
up in that area.
Oh, it did.
It's a good place to grow up if you want to become a hard partying comedian.
Yeah, you probably ran into him when you were in high school around there.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, he's like 6 years older than me. You know,
Probably did, though.
he was still in college for sure. He went to college for 7 years. I told you that made the movie Van Wilder's about Bert
yeah.
Kreischer. You thought I was joking?
No. At first I did, yeah. And then you told me, I was like, oh, my God, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a whole little mini doc on Bert Kreischer, and I was like, at the end of it, I was like, I don't like him.
You didn't like him before either.
No.
Yeah. If you didn't like someone before and you watch a mini doc about them and you don't like them again, then
Yeah.
there's probably nothing that's gonna save
Yeah,
it.
it's like, nah.
Yeah, but I bet you would love this motherfucker if you got around him.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
of
he's one of
course.
those guys that enters a room and everyone's like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Any dude who you talk shit about, it's like if he's having shit talked about them, then they're probably
They've done something.
Yeah, they've done something. So
Yeah, like John Mayer.
like John Mayer, he's probably. I did meet him. I took his photo.
Yeah.
Him and fucking
Bob
Bob
Weir.
Weir were at fucking Andy Cohen's birthday party. Put my
Yeah.
hand on John Mayer's shoulder. I said, "You like that?" And he said, "Yeah."
Are you taller than him?
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
I said, "Hey, listen here, pup. Sit.
Listen,
Sit."
young blood.
Yeah, listen here, young blood. I put my hand on the back of his neck.
No, the best thing happened. My best day of my life was the other week when I was like, "Oh, you know who my biggest crush is? Aubrey Plaza." And you were like, "Oh, I'll send you her phone number." And I
Oh,
thought
yeah.
you were fucking around. And then you actually had her phone number and sent it to me. And I was like, "Joe, you are the man."
You should call her.
Yeah.
You should just call her and just be fingering yourself. And be like,
Yeah, just be like, "Look, I got your number from Joey Lipstein." You probably remember him, right?
You probably remember he sold you weed in college. Remember? Remember?
No, I'm waiting for the perfect day to use that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when or how.
I'll just do it when I'm on Molly. I'll call her. I think that'd be a great time.
Oh my god.
We'll send her a selfie video.
Yeah, that's always the best time to leave people's stuff is on Molly, right?
Well, that's what Cass did with Dean Ween. We took Molly one day. It was just us two at the apartment. No, this was during quarantine. So it was me, you, and Carrie, and we took Molly together once, the three of us. And for like 20 minutes, Cass was just gone, like right when it kicked in. And I'm like, what the hell? And she comes out and she's like, I sent a message to Dean Ween.
Oh.
And like her eyes are flying saucers. And I'm like, what did you tell him? You know, like what did you say?
I don't know. It's for Cameo because he like was doing.
I remember you
Cameo.
sent me that video. I was like, what?
Yeah, you
played
sent
a
him a
song.
cameo request for Church of Chill, but like
Yeah.
her request was through video.
Yeah.
And then he did it, and he
Yeah.
played the song, and
Yeah.
he sent us back a cameo. And then when we met Dean, he was like, I know you. He couldn't get off of it. He was like, I know you. And you're like, I did send you a cameo request.
High, very
so
high.
Hey,
So-
Dean, I love you so much.
I found the video the other day and
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
oh my
Well,
god, this
Cass,
is so humiliating.
You on psychedelics, like leaving video evidence is hilarious. Like we all look
Oh,
insane.
well, because she likes taking pictures when we trip too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of
Which is good.
evidence of our tripping.
It's good. It's good. But
Yeah.
when it gets out onto Instagram, like it can.
I think I'm only really embarrassed. If I was gonna be embarrassed about the way I behaved, the only drug would probably be Molly. I would be like, let's not you know.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's not like I don't ever do anything I regret, but like
That's
I
the
know
one.
I probably look different and weird.
the Molly one is like because I feel like I'm like a fucking crack elf. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
so happy.
I feel like my
Yeah.
eyes are like very
Yeah.
open and like
Yeah.
I'm just you know
I'm trying to. I'm like, as soon as it's videotaped or anything, you start to feel like you're like, oh, this doesn't feel real anymore, and
Yeah.
you're like,
I don't know. I feel like Molly's the least embarrassing. You're like a love beam who loves everyone and loves everything.
In the
Like,
moment, it's
what's-
not
we're
embarrassing.
Men. We're men. We gotta
We're
hold
men.
that down.
We're just innocent
I think
men.
just
ketamine's the
innocent.
most embarrassing because your
Oh.
eyes get all small and you're just like,
Also, Molly, especially for me, obviously, it's like I've been through scenarios where it's like I had a proposal be recorded on Molly, where it's
She
like,
recorded that.
Yeah, it's recorded. I don't know if I can ever find that. I don't think
we should hack her phone.
Somebody
she's gotta
needs to
send it.
destroy that.
Yeah, someone needs to.
'Cause if that gets held up in court, you're fucked.
Yeah, that's. But no, I just feel like it's not as embarrassing in the moment, but when you look back on it, you're like,
Oh yeah, when I looked at that video that I sent, I was like, whoa, this is wild.
yeah.
I saw.
Because you are cracked out.
I saw one of these spiritual girls on Instagram, the kinds we usually make fun of, but she was
Yeah.
making a really good point about not taking Molly too soon into a relationship.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I feel like we have that as a personal rule with us,
That
but
we
we
break
break
it.
it every fucking time. Because she's like, a lot of stuff's going to come up that.
She's
Yeah,
basically like
your amygdala is like disabled. Like
Yeah.
you can't make judgments the way you previously
Not even
would.
that. It's like you might be
Yeah.
around someone who you don't necessarily feel safe with, but you feel safe around them on Molly. So you fall in
Yeah.
love with this version of them that's the most loving version that they
Yeah.
are.
Or, sorry, you're not sure you could let something slip and be like, oh shit, I fucking, and not even think about it. But then you're in Molly thing, and then the next day be like, oh, maybe I should. That came out wrong. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Fucking, I was in like it's kind of like. Well, we do Molly right, so you don't really have that. But it's kind of like a night of drinking when you wake up the next morning. You're like, "What did I say?" And you're like,
We've also
"Oh."
not done it right. We've done probably 6 or 10 Molly trips that were very spur of the moment.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
someone
yeah.
came over and we're just all excited and we're like, let's just take Molly together.
Yeah,
And that's usually that. If there's ever any kind of regretful, like, what did I say? It's usually that. But I don't.
But
not
why
really.
wouldn't you want to take Molly with a cute girl? It's just the most fun night. You're just like, duh. Like, what
Yeah.
else could we do? This
And
is
it's not a
the-
sexual thing
No.
No.
at all. It becomes the opposite. It actually
Yeah.
takes that off the table.
yeah.
It's like I'm not.
Which makes it
doing
way
that.
more intimate, which is what really you want in the end, anyways. Is like intimacy. Like
Yeah.
it does like. When I'm on Molly, I don't want to have sex with somebody. I don't care about sex. I'm like, I want to like get to know you or like.
I really just want to be around like my closest friends at this
Yeah.
point when I
Yeah.
do it,
Yeah.
because that's where there's work to be done. Like when we all take Molly together, like we can process some of the fucking heavy shit we've gone through together.
Exactly.
We can apologize for things. We can reiterate how much we love each other.
Totally.
But sometimes it's not the best thing to be always keeping in the mix. I feel like it's one of the things that kept us in the thing with Mare longer than we probably should have been in it.
Mm. Yeah,
Like
you
when,
guys-
just when things are coming to a point where it's like we should probably break up. Well, it's also been 4 months or 6 months since
Let's
we've done
take
Molly.
Molly,
Let's
yeah.
take Molly.
And then that'll hold you over for.
Then I'll hold you over for another like 4 to 6 months, and then it's like it's probably time to break up. But it's also time to take Molly. And then like you think you're processing stuff because you took Molly together or whatever, but
You say I'm sorry and you
Yeah.
talk and you feel
Oh no,
things.
Yeah.
my relationship was 6 months too long probably because of Molly. Like it
yeah,
was,
yeah. I mean, I think it should come on the warning label.
yeah. It's like it should be like.
Don't
Trip with a fucking. Yeah, but also like that's the thing when you take it with your close friends and family and people you love and trust, like you actually have somewhere to build upon. Where it's like if you take it with strangers, you're just letting your love just like it's like sure you can
yeah.
build, but it's like little sandcastles you can get knocked down over. It's
yeah,
like we want to
right.
build like a cabin, like a fucking
Yeah.
mountain.
Yeah,
You know?
I do think that, like, I think Sean and I have been together over a decade, and we've done it together several times at this point. And I feel like it's helped our relationship to the point where, like, I feel like our relationship doesn't really need
Yeah.
Molly
yeah.
or whatever. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, we've worked through so much together that
We have
I'm
nothing
really
to say to each other. We've had how many Molly trips where it's like
You
we're
guys
like,
did
well,
one
we'll
you
work
didn't say
shit out,
anything.
and then we don't even say anything to each
Yeah.
other.
You did one where you guys didn't talk.
We did one
together.
in this
Yeah.
room where we took it and we didn't listen to music or say anything.
Yeah, that's the best. I think
Yeah.
that's awesome, honestly. I think.
That was just natural. And then we did one where we double dosed and said we're not talking to each other, and we just laid next to each other with blindfolds on. and for 3 hours, and then an alarm went off after 3 hours, and that was when we were allowed to talk.
Wow.
I also feel like we have the like memory in there. Like I was really mean today, and I'm sorry if you're processing that
I don't
still.
care.
But I
You
do.
weren't mean.
I was mean, and I said some mean things, and you said some mean things. But I feel like at the end of that, I was just like, we love each other. Like
Of
we
course.
can all, but like we've worked through mean stuff before, and we have like the pathway towards like, yeah, we love each other, and like this is all water under the bridge. That I truly believe that we can kind of. I'm not saying we should say mean things together, and I'm not saying they don't hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that I feel like because of the work we've done together, we do have the pathway to be like, okay, yeah, I was being mean, you were being mean, we were being mean, but we love each other. We're not going to hold on to that,
Yeah.
you know, or let that like.
It's just a strong, unshakable foundation.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like my dad always says, like, you got to do the heavy lifting of love. Like, you could easily say you love people for sure, but like, there's work that, like, the work you put in is the work you get out in terms of love, and that goes for
Yeah.
relationships, like with just friends, everything. It's like the work you put in is the work you're gonna get out, and it's yeah, it shows. I mean, you guys have been together for so long. It's like.
And we don't like do like, oh, we're broken up or fake breakups or this or that. Or, like we don't
It's not even a question.
we don't play those games,
No.
and that's good. Like that's
Yeah.
off the table.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the psychedelic journeying has definitely made us stronger for sure. If you come out on the other side of like Toad and fucking ayahuasca and like just all the things like that, just getting scared, you know, like you've seen me get scared. Like truly, like to my core, I've seen you get scared, shaken to your core. We've both seen that with Cass, like where it's just like, whoa, like you are fear incarnate right now, and it's crazy. And you know, with the mean stuff, I sometimes question. I'm like, do people or me or like does everybody like just have a certain amount of mean things that they need to say, and that there's more healthy outlets to like. Where like maybe I could just talk shit about somebody else with Joey, and I just got all my mean quota for the month out. Like, you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
don't want it to come out on you, but it's like almost a safe place for us to do that dance and get it done with, so we could just be so nice to everybody else and really show up.
Sometimes it feels like I'm like vice versa. I'm sure it goes, but sometimes I feel like I'm fucking getting the brunt of your anger.
Of
and
course,
that's
of
why I'm like,
course.
I'll give you mine. Like,
Yeah.
you want to give me the brunt of your anger
Yeah.
or your frustration, like, well, you better watch out because I'll fucking meet you there.
Yeah.
You know, and I think sometimes we play a game of, I don't know if it's chicken or whatnot, but it's like, oh, you want to be mean? I can be mean, you know, or something.
I think it's like sometimes there is that thing where you're like, oh, there's something that like sometimes it'll come to you. It's like an inspirations for like an idea. It's like, oh my God, that is what I need to say, or that's a thought that like it could be rooted in anger, but you're like, that's a good thought. That's
Yeah.
worthy of saying. And then when you do get it out, again, it is like that therapeutic, like, oh my God, I got it out, and I got through a fight with somebody or whoever. And this is not you guys in particular. It's like this applies for me. It's like you say it in a fight, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, I kind of needed to say that for it to come out and for me to get better. But I think the solution in some respects is like it's okay to have that thought. It's just how much weight you give it and how much you want to, you know, like are you putting it on somebody else? Because at the end of the day, once you say it to somebody, it's putting it on the other person, and it's
Absolutely.
become unfair to them.
You're describing my whole inner monologue with all this stuff, because
Yeah.
the thought will come to you, and all it is a fake fucking story, and it's
Yeah.
usually steeped in negativity.
Yeah.
And it sounds good in your head, and then even as you say it,
Yeah.
you're like, that sounded good, but
Yeah.
you didn't think about the repercussions.
No.
And you know, what is going to be your follow-up to someone's reaction to you fucking saying that wild-ass thing?
Totally.
And that's where I just end up, like, in over my head. And
Well, who says, like, is it better to be right or happy? You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
something like that, you know? Because it's like this righteousness of, like,
that was in that show, Dave.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I highly recommend this show on Hulu called Dave.
Yeah, pretty funny.
Well, yeah, he just says at one point, he's like, you could be right or you can be happy.
Well,
Yeah.
but because we've seen such infinite sides of each other, and I've seen you scared, or you know, it's like because
Yeah.
I know that side of you. Like anything mean you say to me, as long as I know it's like flowing through you and out of you, like it might hurt me or whatever, but I don't hold on to it because
Yeah, I know. I think we're both pretty good about that for, like, obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of context.
yeah.
And we don't offer that to strangers because we don't have context
Mm-hmm.
for them. But, like, it's easy for you to think, even when I'm being mean, like, well, I mean, his parents are out of control today, and like Katie had a seizure and he didn't eat, and like you have all this context. Like,
Doesn't mean I won't call you a little bitch.
no,
Yeah.
it's
I'll
okay.
be like, you're
I
a
mean, I
little,
am.
like
Yeah.
I was being, and then I was like calling you a whiny bitch today, and I was like, God, I'm being so mean, and I don't even care. Like, who
Yeah.
does that? Who calls their partner a whiny bitch? And then
Everybody, by the way.
Yeah, probably a lot of
A
people.
lot of people. Probably a lot of people say.
But
a
it's
lot
good.
worse shit.
I can handle it. I can handle you splash water in my face. I'm like, all right.
do you know about that, Joey?
No.
Yeah.
I
Cass has done this to me a number of times.
it's
It's like the most humiliating. Yeah.
it is kind of like that.
Yeah, that is a girl thing to do.
I
Mm.
like I have, my parents didn't fight, and like we fight, me and Sean, and my parents are like, where does that come from? Like, my parents didn't fight. Like, I'm not.
They
Where
should
does that?
have. Maybe they'd be together.
Yeah, maybe they would be
Uh.
together if they did fight. But I have this thing that when I'm really mad or I feel like I can't get through to Sean, I've thrown a glass. So from now I try
multiple
not to.
times and not a. Yeah.
I remember one time a shot glass shattering against the wall,
Yeah.
and that was pretty bad. But since then I throw water out of a glass.
It's better. It's better than
It's
a glass.
better. And
Yeah.
then so I threw water on him today. Like kind of like I just took the water glass and I went like this, not like that in his
Yeah.
face, just kind of like where water went all over the room. And then Sean hands me the glass and he's like, "You throw water at me again? Throw water at me again?" And I won't go like this and I throw it on my face.
Oh my god, that's funny.
No, 'cause she like picked up another glass to do it. I was like, yeah, go ahead, do it. Smash it. Throw it in my face. Smash the glass. Do whatever the fuck you were gonna do.
and she
right
smashed it in her own face.
now. Yeah.
Well, here I think honestly, like in terms of like these, when you find these like sore spots or like that thought that comes up and all these things, like what it is, it's providing a roadmap for like your own growth. Like I feel like that for me at least,
Yeah.
like it's actually it's like a fucking blister on the bottom of your toe. It's like it's pointing to where the healing needs to be, like the sensitivity to it and the pain from it is where the healing needs to be. And it's actually like a road marker, and there's just going to be signs no matter what of how you can do it better. And again, it's like applies for everything, not just relationships and whatever. It's like it's a sore spot in which you have some learning to do on how to deal with, or like whatever it is.
Frustration, yeah, because it's how I deal with frustration is when I feel like I can't get through to Sean, I become Limp Bizkit. I'm like, break
Yeah.
stuff.
I wanna just like breaking shit up.
Yeah, I remember.
Break stuff. Your boyfriend ever say what? No. Did you have a bad day? Break it. Throw water in his fucking face. Why?
All right.
Yeah. Cass gets very new metal. I get
Yeah.
grunge. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I don't change my tone. I don't raise my voice. Like there's maybe a little bit more intensity what I'm doing, but I'm more just like grunge, depressive, like inherently just moody. And then she goes new metal on me.
Yeah, you're like a grungy poet, like very precise words with
Yeah.
very weighted words.
Yes.
And like you even astutely said today, you're like, I don't have the like precise words, so I'm just gonna get louder and say more like,
Yeah.
at you. Like,
Yeah.
And it's true. It's like, it's like different. That's your guys' different tools of dealing with it, and there has to be a moment where you guys meet in the middle. And again, this isn't just for you guys; it's for everybody and everything. It's just like you meet in the middle, and that's where the healing needs. That's where the new tools lie that you can
Yeah,
deal with.
yeah.
It's like the next level up.
You got hit with some shrapnel today.
Yeah.
Joey, I'm
I
like,
don't
Joey,
care,
you don't need to be
honestly.
in this fight. And he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
he was like, well, because I was
Maybe
like,
there's a compromise.
maybe you
and,
could
like,
only get ready for it. Because I was like, I just want to be able to take a shower.
for an
And
hour.
you're like, and Sean's like, it takes you an hour. And Joey's like, well, maybe you could compromise and it'll only take you 30 minutes. I'm like, Joey, you
take 3 hours to wake up, and by the time, and I was like, okay, cool, all right. I thought that one was kind of funny though, because I was like, whatever. I was
Yeah.
like, it's just residual runoff, but like it wasn't really directed at me.
Yeah.
As I said,
Cass
like,
was like, hit.
yeah,
Don't.
no fizzy drink.
No.
But yeah, no, I mean, but even us, it's like we have enough foundation that like when you say that I'm not affected by it, I'm like, oh, she's
That's
just
just
pissed. Like,
true.
yeah, especially I literally was like, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I was ready for the podcast, but I did wake up at 11:30 finally. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding.
So did I, though. I woke up at 11:30 today. I was so wiped out. But I am grateful overall, like that our genders line up with our genres. Like you can't have like if it was switched and I was new metal and you were grunge,
wow.
you would have had to leave me a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
You would be so scared if I ever smashed something.
No, totally.
Or punched something, or threw something, or
smash.
tore something apart.
Yeah, I
like,
had a boyfriend who fucking would destroy stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's just a matter of time.
I wouldn't even have a
Right?
friend who
Isn't it?
destroy. I wouldn't have a friend who destroys stuff. I wouldn't put that.
Oh,
that
yeah,
around
no,
me. I'm
it's-
like, no, sorry.
it's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean considers that I've hit him, but I'm like, I don't hit you. You just get in my space, and I push you out of my space.
Yeah,
I don't care. I
Just
don't
like,
know. It's
get out of my space.
you're an ectomorph as long as you weren't an endomorph. that
Yeah,
would
if
be
she
a
was an
problem.
endomorph coming at me,
That'd be a problem.
I wouldn't know what to do.
I have to pee. Sorry, 1 second.
Oh, yo, 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 yo. Yeah, but, we keep going.
It is true though. Like I maybe because of my gender can get away with like I don't break stuff anymore. I mean, maybe I do, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I am sorry. Like I don't want to be
That's all
like
good.
this.
Yeah, I don't want to be like this either.
Yeah.
I almost wish that there was, like I heard the Steve-O from Jackass say like it was a gift how intense of an addict and alcoholic he was because it gave him impetus to make a big change.
Right.
And like I almost wish that there was like some like reckoning of like, okay, yeah, I gotta change my wicked ways, but like I'm just disciplined enough that I don't raise my voice. I just say raw ass shit. So it's easy enough after all is said and done to be like whatever, moving on. But if I had smashed something or whatever, I might be like talking to a therapist right now or whatever, and it might help me move past some of this stuff. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where we get. But it's an interesting thing. It's kind of like my personality across the board. Same thing with addiction. If I was just one notch further more like that, I would probably have impetus to do something about it. But I'm not. It's so manageable. Like,
Yeah.
and my anger is manageable, and it comes in very like I was saying to you, like
Yeah.
Cass and I haven't gotten into it since we last saw you.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know what's going on, or if I feel extra pressure, if she's putting extra pressure on me, and like.
I think there's just like a tightness of like Joey's here and we want to be in a good mood, and so we just like we get mad at each other. Like, you're really gonna be a little bitch right now? Are you fucking kidding me?
To me, it's not even like that.
And then I can't even like hold space and be nice because I'm so mad that you're mad at all that I don't like. We can't even get back there soon because I'm like, this is unbelievable.
I just felt like I was in a situation where it's like you were calling me a bad director and a bad boyfriend, and I'm like, I can't be both in one day. I can't even be a director and a boyfriend in the same day, let alone be terrible at both those things. Like, just choose if I'm a bad boyfriend or I'm a bad director right now, because I will tailor my arguments towards you, based on that.
Well, I also think it's like probably again why it arises now. Another argument is like because it's when we're on the pursuit of doing something, like everything's heightened as we're going towards this project or when we're on it. So every single time we're on it, it's going to heighten everything. So of course it's going to there's going to be clashing at some point, because
It literally happens right before we take Molly too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's meltdowns
Yep,
start
yep.
happening. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? The whole world's falling apart right before
Yeah.
we take this very sacred thing.
Yeah.
It's just part of the balance, maybe. It's part of the hero's journey. It's like to resist the urge to be like, fuck it, I'm calling this off. We're not in the place to do this right now, which I did on the end of our last shoot.
I think that was honestly a good call. By the
Yeah,
end
we
of
needed
it,
to go home.
Everything that we did felt so weird and like we were bad. Like not bad, but it was just a little somber, I think, especially as we were leaving. But then it's like
Dude, we needed to be home. We found my
again,
dad on the kitchen floor 2 days later.
I was going to say
like,
a week as the week went on when we got back, I was like, oh, I found my fucking apartment would have been a week more destroyed. It would have been
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows?
Yeah, we
literally.
needed to. Something was drawing us home, and it was making us a little cranky.
But that's like why I judge anything.
Yeah.
Like maybe we were supposed to record this podcast at 5 p.m. instead of.
I have no problem with
2
that.
p.m.,
I have
you
no
know?
problem with that. I just want to know that.
Yeah.
Well, you can't know. But the thing is, we can't. Like,
Well, yeah.
it's like it's happening perfect. It's unfolding perfectly,
No,
and we
I
both want to
understand.
get back to the good
I understand.
place.
Part of
Yeah.
my frustration is just like, can we just have a time and a day of the week that we do this, so it doesn't seem like a surprise every time? Like that was part of where my frustration was coming from. Like, why can't we just do this thing we say we're gonna do?
And I was like, yeah, I just needed 40 minutes instead of 10. Jeez.
Yeah. Well, and I like I was telling you guys, I'm like, yo, there's a window where I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
buzzing and I'm ready to talk, and then there's like the day starts to go a little bit more energetically down, and I'm like, I just don't want to be recording during that part, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, I just think it's going great. No,
It's the best podcast ever.
no, I
Oh,
mean
yeah.
it is good. I honestly, I'm enjoying. I think honestly, like, it's what you guys are both saying. Both of you guys, I am able to objectively see it. It's like both of you guys have good points. It's just that's just where the work is. Both of you guys, it's like that's what you got. You guys both have valid points that need to meet in the middle and see. And then next time, it's like you just do it better next time. The past is a good blueprint, but it's not something that you should like prophesize over. Like this is what's going to happen because
Yeah.
then you'll bring that to the next time that it happens.
And that's my mistake.
Yeah.
Is like
Everybody
I'm
makes mistakes.
like Cass does a very innocent thing of like, yeah, it was a crazy night last night. I'm gonna take a long shower and
Yeah.
just fucking unwind. And I'm like, this is what you do every time.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing in all this stuff to today that has nothing to do with today. Like, who cares if she takes another half hour?
Yeah.
But to me, I'm like, you're gonna do this for the 308th time in a row. Like,
Yeah.
we can't just get on there right now and just talk. Like, I never get to doll myself up. I wish
Yeah.
I could look good on this thing. I don't
You
know
do
how.
look good.
Thanks, man. I did get a shower after all.
Yeah, and I think again, it's like both of those are valid things, and we do this often. You're always going to bring your previous story to where you're at, but in reality, it's like you're bringing your trauma to try to solve a problem, and honestly, like it just requires your presence. It doesn't require any of the other baggage that you're bringing.
Yeah, and you say everything so astutely and
Oh, I'm
kindly.
retarded.
No, you're
Oh.
you're really good in these things, and we
He's
don't mean
great.
to use you as a therapist, but like, there's like a moment where I should level up, and then I'm like, say to Sean, I'm like, aren't you bored of hearing yourself talk? Like he needs me to like say something kind,
Yeah.
and I double down on being an asshole.
Mm.
And then but then my karma is like, now we have to be in here for another 2 hours or
Yeah,
whatever,
We all do that. And it's easy for me to commentate when I'm on the outside because you guys are smart and I respect you and I can see kind of the patterns I get into. And then I'm like, oh, it's like, oh shit, I can have a front row experience to it without actually experiencing it and feeling like the stress hormones.
Oh, bro. Yeah. But I mean, it's also the unique situation that we continue to put ourselves in is like people get to bear witness to the behind the scenes of our relationship. And like, there's certain people that were like, we don't protect you from it. We definitely don't protect Joey from it. But like, if we had to bear witness to him and his girlfriend fighting or whatever, like, I mean, it would probably drive me crazy. I can't imagine what this guy goes through having to watch us fight.
I know, that's why I get so mad at you.
But it's also,
I'm
there's
like,
nothing
"Are
to
you
be
really gonna
embarrassed
fight
about.
around
You
the
gotta
freaking-
turn it on. Yeah, I
Joey
don't
again?
care.
There's nothing to be embarrassed about because I'm sure Joey has as equally as embarrassing fights with
Oh,
his
yeah,
girl. Like, I'm
100%.
sure of it.
100%.
And everyone does.
Yeah.
All fights are embarrassing
Yeah.
to a certain degree.
Well, it's like when you're
It's like
fighting
I
with
lost my cool.
Yeah, especially with someone you love and you're intimate with or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, or family. It's like you always resort back to like some sort of embarrassment and shame because again, that's the sensitivity. That's where the healing needs to happen. It's probably stems down from something long ago that you just haven't upgraded your tools on how to deal with it yet. Like,
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a chance to upgrade. But the thing that sucks is like your fucking nervous system is hijacked.
And we're in our, as we said at the beginning of this podcast, we're in our non-upgrading stage.
Yeah.
We're in the fuck it, I'm a raw as
Yeah,
human being
yeah.
stage.
I'm
I'm like,
Yeah, I am still upgrade, but yeah, I do feel that too. Like I still feel like I'm upgrading, but I also do feel that too. Where I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking. I don't need to fucking journal about this. I'm just gonna do it.
That actually probably would help me of
Yeah.
all the things. Yeah, probably just like, because I do like I would have mornings in Brooklyn where like I just like woke up and I wasn't in a great mood and I would just write like a Facebook rant
Yeah.
and it would have nothing to do with Cass.
but then it would also start your day on a like ranty because that's a public space.
So I stopped doing it.
But I do think, there is this thing of, couples who have couples therapy once a month and they save their, fights or the thing, or not even a couples therapy with a therapist, but like we'll meet we're not going to fight anymore. We'll meet once a month and talk about all the things that pissed us off.
All right.
And then by the time, someone was just telling me about this, and by the time you get to that day, most of it's like you just like don't care to bring it up. Like you're not going to be like, hey, you know, it really pissed me off that you were 30 minutes late to that podcast.
Well, that's why it feels like this wouldn't be an effective thing. I like just moving the energy as it comes up, because what you're suggesting would be like, come to me with a pile of evidence at the end of the month and we'll talk it out. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
It's
like,
going to be irrelevant.
well, that's what I'm saying. Even as you're saying this stuff, I'm like, Sean, this is an irrelevant problem you're having with me.
Yeah.
Like this is stupid. Do you know what I
It
mean?
was.
And it was stupid.
I was
and you're
mad at
taking
the other times you've done this to me, and it just felt like part of that pattern. And I'm like, I keep telling you.
Yeah, but we take these things out on each other that we really just need to internally process in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And we're like, I need you to make me feel better and make me feel safe that you won't be late again. And it's like, or I'm just late.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
no big deal.
And you still love me.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess.
No, I definitely do. I love you more.
Yeah.
You know, because you show your loyalty. That's for sure.
How's that?
By just staying with me, like, you know, I could just be such a fucking piece of shit.
That made me too.
Yeah,
It's
you
like-
guys aren't. No one's being loyal then. I mean, well, you guys are being loyal to each other, but I just
We're
mean,
loyal
like,
ass dogs.
yeah, you got. This is a dog pack.
We're perfectly fucked up for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like, it's why meditation is so important, is like, it really just helps keep things smooth, especially the schedule we're on, like where you do it as soon as you wake up, and then you do it at the time of the day that you would normally like want to nap or just be getting in a bad mood, to just offer yourself the gift of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to just sit there and bear witness to the insanity and the mental digestion process and all the stuff. Like, you meditate when you get up, and it's kind of like more about your dreams, and if your thoughts pull you anywhere, it's in like, what am I going to do today? But then when you do that second meditation, it's kind of like your brain processing all the shit you just did for the last 8 hours, and you kind of just like kind of watch that movie in your head, and then maybe get to that place of nothingness. But I just think, like, if we didn't offer ourselves that reprieve, our shit would be way more off the rails, like way more off the
And
rails.
we'll be 10 years more into this and be like, man, we just kept doing meditation. We should have just broken up 10 years ago.
We just meditated through it.
Yeah, we just kept
Yeah, but that's
meditating.
more sustainable than Molly.
Yeah.
I think we were kind of on one for drinking coffee the first time in a while, too.
I had one sip of coffee. It's not even.
I was
factor.
on one.
I was literally. You might have had more than me, and maybe it affected you more. I woke up with a splitting headache, and one of the things I try to do is, it's like first I'll try Advil and water and a shower and this and that, and like the last resort is like, will caffeine help this? And it kind of did.
Yeah, I can't.
But I
can
drop,
Yeah.
because if I took any more, I think it would make the headache worse.
Yeah. No, caffeine can help headaches with the blood flow and whatnot. I just yeah, I mean, last night was pretty long. It was so fun, but it's like they put you in such a trance. It's like you're sitting there for hours. I was like it was a long
No
one.
set break.
No set break either, yeah.
You know, like we're used to jam bands who all do it like the Grateful Dead
Yeah.
way. And, you know, they'll play for a total of 2.5 hours. These guys played for 2.5 hours, like Ween style. Like, we're
Which is
plowing
dope.
through the song.
Which is
Yeah.
so dope.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I don't know. I think of Jim different now. It's
Yeah.
crazy, you know. I just kind of know him as like a dude we hang out with out in LA, and like he's fun and just a regular dude. And then you see him do that, and you're like, oh my god,
He put on a show.
you're
He was
very
like,
special.
Yeah, he was like a star. He was like running around and doing the
Dancing,
fucking
yeah.
getting people to dance with him. He made up a song about New Haven. Like,
Oh my god.
that was so crazy. He's like doing full loops and then like dancing around. He flew at one point. I was
When I see a show like that, the stoned me when I do get distracted. I'm like, they got to do this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the next day, like, this is insane.
Yeah.
This is an insane way to make a
Yeah.
living. To go around like putting on like the performance of a lifetime every night.
Oh yeah, it's harder than a comedian because I would think it's harder than a comedian. You're like, you got to give it everything. There's no like silence of like a comic can be like, I'm waiting for that joke to land or like
Yeah.
whatever it is or
Yeah.
a laughing break or whatever. It's like music. You're just like, especially the type of music they're playing. They just were hammering at it for 2 hours, moving around. I'm like, he's probably sweating,
Oh yeah.
burning calories. He's gonna need pizza after.
Anyone would.
Anyone would.
Yeah. I mean, and man, they have the most enviable job when they're on that level. If you're on that level of musicianship and performing, where it's second nature to them, which
Yeah.
it obviously is, It's
It
the
is.
best job you could have.
You're performing. It's all performance.
Because
It's all
even
the same.
comedians you fucking love could still bomb.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to happen with a musician. I mean, people might leave and be like, I wish they played this song, that song. But you can play the same songs for fucking 20, 30,
Yeah.
50 fucking
Yeah.
years. Like, a comedian has it, like, every time someone comes to see you, you better have
Having-
saying something different than you did last time.
That is so interesting.
and it puts you in a different kind of bind.
It
you know?
does. It's like a refresher. I mean, I gotta say, like before I left town, I did. I hosted a mic at Sunshine City Comedy Club. Shouts out. I hosted it, and then there was an open mic right after, and we went up, and some of the crowd had, because it goes right from the show to the open mic, like it doesn't even break or anything. It just goes right into it, so people stay. And so everybody beforehand had seen like an hour and a half before, like all the shit that I had. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that. So then I just did brand new material, and honestly, like it was more freeing than anything, because it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wasn't. It leveled me up in that way, because I was like, I just realized I was taking my jokes too seriously. Like,
Well, and something I was saying to you yesterday, you ran a bit by me, and I was like, it's brilliant. You need to perform it in a way that it seems like you just came up with that, or
Yeah.
you're coming up with it. So it needs to be a lot of pregnant pauses and contemplative. Like, even if it's a bit of acting on your part, I think
Yeah.
it'll sell that a little bit more. But that's what a musician has to do every night. That is their one thing that they have to. They have to go out there and act like this is their first time
yeah,
doing this. If they want to, if they really care about the audience,
Yeah.
which My Morning Jacket clearly does.
definitely.
And,
They put on a show.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whoa, that was
That thing hits like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
This is like
baby work.
this is baby work.
That's baby
compared to
work.
that.
There's things that
I might get confused.
you are
Get a
gonna
little confused.
Get very confused.
Oh God, I did too much.
That's your brain. Once dabs get in your life, your brain, your life, your everything is gonna get wonky.
It's like a little more squishy.
Yeah, it's like a little.
Just life just becomes like a little bit more. You were riding a roller coaster.
Now it's a water park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like weed, regular weed. It just like keeps me on the level. This fucks me up.
Yeah.
This definitely.
This got us looking how we looked last night, which was probably the funniest thing in the world. To see you look stoned was like,
I'm like, do I look normal?
yeah, and I was like, oh shit,
We're about to
son.
go back there. And like the thing about going backstage that dawned on me, I was like, because when I've done it before, it's always this. It's like, yeah, of course we want to go chill with our bro, but he's like the lead singer of this band. Everyone's gonna go and want to chill with him,
Yeah.
so we have to be in the mood to go chop it up with a bunch of
Everybody.
strangers.
Yeah.
And I just don't.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah,
You
we
know.
weren't prepared for that. Ooh, that could have been like an 8 p.m. thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
11
When I
PM,
was
yeah.
like peaking on everything,
Yeah.
I would have been a fucking
I would've
killer
been, yeah.
back there.
I would have been performing. I just would have gone on stage.
Yeah,
I would've
exactly. Let me take over.
Yo, let me do a tape 5 real quick. Up front.
But we're going to see more comedy shows, more
Fuck yeah.
concerts, and we're gonna keep ripping away at Wild Magic.
Fuck yeah.
It's just gonna keep finding us, and I think this was just kind of like people say the calm before the storm. This is like the chaos before the storm.
Mm.
And really, like in these like little 3-week downtime we had, I thought we were gonna catch an in breath, and we didn't.
No.
And it's okay. I think it'll help us. It'll make this movie what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Like we're really pushing ourselves to the brink.
I feel like I had a good in breath, honestly, back at home. Like it was a chaos when I arrived home.
Yeah.
Ceiling fell through. My fucking bathroom ceiling fell through from a leak 3 a.m. And then I get home and I have to like go to my parents' house. But I'm like, from there, I'm like, all right, I have a place to go.
Yeah.
I was working out and everything. I was doing comedy, and then it's like this is exciting because we're kind of going to a new. We had such a flavor the last trip that we were on that it's like it's gonna accentuate it. It's gonna be like a ketchup to a chicken nugget.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ketchup.
I'm hungry.
Ketchup to chicken nugget.
That's
That's
disgusting.
ranch?
That's actually good. What are you talking
You put ketchup on chicken nuggets?
What else would
What
we
do
put
you
on a
put
chicken
on it?
nugget?
Barbecue?
Barbecue. Ooh,
some
barbecue's
sort of
good.
Honey
mustard.
mustard. Honey mustard's
Yeah.
good. Ketchup.
9 things before ketchup.
Wow,
I
interesting.
feel like ketchup is just for French fries and like maybe on a burger.
Mm.
I don't like when I see people put it on a hot dog. I don't. Joey, the hell are you doing?
I had a hot dog last night. No, I'm kidding.
Sweet. How long
Damn.
did we do this for? Oh, we did it.
Yeah.
Great.
We did it.
Love it. It
Great.
was so
Cat's
fun.
like, great. Cool.
Great. Cool. We did it.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us.
Yo, look out
Peace,
for Boys
love, and-
Club.
Oh yeah, patreon.com/Church of Chill. Lots of Boys Clubs
Yeah,
episodes. We're gonna be
coming.
doing more.
They're
Lots
coming.
more coming. And the Church of Chill, free. Those are free on Patreon. And what else is on there? Oh, the Discord community. Get on there and become our friend. There's a really interesting conversation going on there right now, especially. So join us. Patreon.com/Church of Chill. Sean Cass and Joey. The Very A podcast. Peace, love, and magic.